food security business, who knows, then blockchain technology can come in that secures your data protection, big data comes in, number of stuff. Look at this, for example, how the world is changing. In 1998, the mantra was don't get in a car with strangers. Come 2008, 10 years down the road, don't meet people from internet alone. In 2018, now we have Uber. So you are not only meeting a stranger, but you're using internet to call that stranger and be with that stranger. You see what I mean over here? Look at this slide. This is a very self-revealing slide. 1998, don't get in a car with a stranger. 2008, don't meet people from internet alone. 2018, order yourself a stranger from the internet to get into a car with alone. You see what, how the world has changed? It's so funny. It's classically depiction. So this is exactly what financial technology is, guys. You have to understand fintech from different perspective. Fintech is not only payment systems. It's not only making one thing electronic or automated. No, this is not fintech. People have to understand what is different between innovation and renovation. It's a different topic. We'll have another session just dedicated to fintech. But I want to bring in over here my folks from Russia, who's been very, very kind on my request, came here to regale us, to tell us what it means to use now, if this is the importance of technology, if this is the importance of Islamic risk-sharing finance to promote technology, and the whole scheme of how this can be done in Oman and make Oman grow in entrepreneurship through, of course, risk-sharing finance, then what role technology is going to make, because the last slide has told us that the world is a different world altogether, and particularly these youth people are tech-savvy people. They are the 2018 Uber version people. And they are the majority of the people, particularly in countries like Oman or the Muslim countries. So this is a nexus developing. The third nexus, then how am I going to use technological disruption to implement what I've just mentioned and hence get maximum benefits of a risk-sharing, financing-driven entrepreneurship. And I then now have the pleasure to call our folks from Russia, from Ukraine, who are really, really fine players and who will then take the center stage to tell you how technology can help us to achieve what we have just discussed vis-a-vis entrepreneurship, vis-a-vis Oman and the banking in Oman. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our friends from Russia to come and take center stage. Alexander is there. Alexander, how's it going? Siri is there. Siri, how's it going?
It's good. Going very well.
I leave the floor to your kind self.
Thank you.
You can introduce yourself. I can do the intro as well, but I switched to a strategy where I let you do that now and briefly explain where you come from in terms of what you do, and then tell us
okay.
Solutions that you can provide us in Oman, not only for the banking sector, but how to promote entrepreneurship in Oman through technology modes that you guys have on offer.
I also ask you to grant access for sharing screens, because now only organizer can share the screen.
Okay. So if I have our friends, let me see, if we have folks from Minhaj University, can we grant access to Alexander and Siri to share the screen? If not, then I can, of course. Can you share it now?
No, still not.
Okay, let me just very quickly do it from my end. The other backup of. So we have your slides over here. You want me to open the slides?
Yeah, sure.
So we'll open the slides for you. I'm going to share the screen at my end too. Let me very quickly do that. Okay, let me open your part of the slides. Yeah, can you make Siri or Alexander to share the screen.
Okay, let me make.
Please.
I change his status. Is now presenter.
Okay. So Alexander or Siri, you can, if you want, you can share the slides, or you want me to keep on.
I still don't have this ability. Could you please check? It's not
Otherwise, I
available.
already have the slides open. You can see it, I'm guessing.
So do you have any option, sir?
My screen sharing is still unavailable. Only organizers and presenters can share. So I don't have this ability.
You are presenter now. Just
It's
change your
very
status.
strange. So I think we should ask Mugis to
No big deal.
show.
You can see the slides on my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see the slides, but this is not our slides.
That's not your slide? Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
This is your slides.
Okay, let's try once again.
Oh, yeah, it's okay now. It's okay now.
Now you can share.
Yes, I can share. Can you see it?
Fantastic. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Great,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks, Karan.
Okay, so we'll go to the start, and I will talk briefly about our company and who am I. And future banking, from our perspective, is not the banking itself, it's about cooperating. So I am the founder of the company Movex. It was founded in Ukraine, and we made actually a lot of projects in ERP implementation, contact centers building, and we have a big experience in telecom industry as well. We also have more than 5 own solutions for innovation-driven solution in banking, and work with several fintech startups and fintech companies. Me personally have more than 15 years in IT and telecom operating, and I am actually inspired with all new things and market changing. So I will not hesitate and go further. What is the main challenges and what is stopping actually the entrepreneur before he is becoming a legal entity? It's the things which is related to registering your company and the necessity of connections to the governmental institutions. The entrepreneur stops because he don't know actually where to go and how to do it in the right way, which type of entity he should select or something like this. What is the next, which is the problematic for him, is the finding partners and customers to prove your idea in a business, and where to find them actually, how to work with the market. When you start operating and register your company already, how to proceed with accounting exactly, to exclude any penalties from the governmental tax authority. This is also the risk factor for the entrepreneur. And what is the legal support and supply chain docs? So you have to have the good contracts with your partners and customers to be in a safe place. We also need to manage our local tasks and marketing activities, because if we have more than one employee, we need to track tasks and their efficiency. And all of this should be in the head of the entrepreneur, and how to work with it. Let's go briefly through these processes. So registering company, you have to define what you are going to do and define the name of your company, define a lot of things related to your company, And you will ask, where is the bank here? We can say that the bank may be as a platform, and the bank may provide the wizard for registering a new company and provide the focus on business for this particular company and provide the step-by-step algorithm. The bank as a platform is something which is the new vision for the banking. From our point of view, the bank should take care more responsibility about educating his customers, how to operate effectively with financing, how much financing do you need exactly to make your idea alive, how to work effectively with your employees, how to arrange your tax accounting, not to pay extra money. And for all these things, entrepreneur don't have necessary employees inside his small entity, because it's not a big load from him. He don't have a big amount of customers. He don't have a big amount of partners. He just need to take a few agreements with them and so on. And for these purposes, bank may become a platform providing these partners to support the young entrepreneurs and the small companies with legal and document support, with marketing partners who will design the website for them and so on, and provide it like a marketplace of services. And of course, they can set up the automatic payments and regular bills or settling supplier debts through supply chain financing, trading, factoring. What is the benefits and why the bank need to take this responsibility on his neck? Actually, once you will have this responsibility, you will have ability to manage the customer and his story of growing. You can build the supply chain, support of building this supply chain. You can monitor all of this, and this information will remain in the bank side. So it means that the bank will have access to the big data of marketing and trading operations on the market, and will have all this information to analyze what is happening on the market, what is the trend lines, what is the things which should be supported, and which customer we are going to involve to the bank. Becoming a partner for the small companies means that supporting them in their growth, it's a long-term partnership and ability to have your profits in the future. We know a lot of startups which started from the small 1-2 person companies and now become big enterprises with billion capitals. What is the risk management here, and what is the role of risk management here, and tools for the risk management? It might be a bidirectional tools. For the companies is going to take loan, to borrow money from the bank, it means that they can analyze their abilities before they borrow the money. It means that they can ask for scoring and to see what amount of money is safe for them to take and is comfortable to settle these debts. For the bank, this it means that the bank may calculate the risks before they appear at the customer side. They can see the operations, and they can see the company, or the profile of the bad customers, and comparing to the good customers, and analyze which customers is under the risk. And the other part which is hidden here is the gamification of the process of performance. It means that managing these risks might be something which is focusing to decrease the risk. It means that each entrepreneur may have his dashboard of performance in comparison to other entrepreneurs in his area, and see how good he is. And actually this competition inside is a very motivating thing, which gives also the understanding of your weaknesses and the things you should be aware, and to have some kind of advising from the system. What is also killing the entrepreneurship at the start, when the company is small, it's the big amount of papers and the necessity of working with it. The entrepreneur is a unique guys who is actually should be far from routine to be effective. Then the task for entrepreneur to be as more flexible as it is possible, because our environment around us is very fast changing things, and if you are deeply in your operational tasks, you just can't be flexible and can be creative in terms of searching for the new abilities and new chances in environment around. So that's why we see that there is a necessity to outsource the tasks for document processing and accounting and legal support for the partners. And once again, the bank is able to provide this partnership with accountancy companies and provide these services through the platform, and be sure that his customers is clear and fair in their tax reports to the tax authority, and this is also part of the risk management for the bank. The other important thing here is the task management. Each entrepreneur, no matter size he have, should have the task management system. It should be a CRM or something, and bank can outsource this system for him as well. Even more, contact center of the bank may support his customer's office and provide outsourcing services for contact center. I have such cases in my practice, and it works very well. So you're coming to the bank, this is your circle of trust actually, and bank supports you with all of these routine things, and you're just focused on the business, and it works actually very well. What is the risk management and what is happening under the hood? The scoring designer tool we are using, it's something which is related to different projects and different products. It means that the risk managers at the side of the bank may create different scorecards and different models for different purposes. So for the micro business, this is the one model. For the short-term loans, this is the one model, and for the long-term loans, this is the other model. And depending on many other conditions on the market, you have your certain model for the particular case, and this gives you precise scoring for particular cases and the lower default rate. It also gives ability to predict some things which is happening with segments of customers. It's also give you an API connections, program connections to connect to as many sources of information as you just can have administrative access. So you are connecting the governmental institutions, you are connecting the loan bureau, loan history bureaus, you're connecting to the social media to analyze your customer and what is his behavior actually, and a lot of other metrics and registries to have the 360-degree view about your customer and his profile, to be sure that he is the right guy to borrow the money or to cooperate with. Because scoring may be not only about scoring the risk, it might be also the scoring in a particular area of economy of is it successful company for the particular sector of economy for different commercial use. And also what is important for the bank is the customer profiling. It means that having this data, you can define the gold customer profiles and find these customers through the lead database you have from different sources, and focus your marketing activities on particular customers on the lead database, just in case you have the 100,000 of entrepreneurs and you don't know exactly from which end you have to start, and you're analyzing this database of micro and small businesses and defining a few thousand of them to operate with as a potential gold customers. And it means that you have lower expenses on marketing and faster results. One of other important cases may be delivered is the how to define the time when employee may leave the company, may leave the bank or may leave the entrepreneur. This tool is important for every entity who is employing somebody. Actually, the case here is that we are investing a lot of money and time to grow the specialist inside the company and structure, and there is a system, a set of metrics to define if our employee is going to leave the company. And having these indicators inside, you will be able to manage this potential risk. It's also very important in risk management when you have a certain specialist with specific, especially for the small and medium businesses, because when you have a small amount of employees, it's very important to keep your team together and to work with professionals, because this is a very sensitive situation when you're losing your employees, especially very proficient guys who might be hired from big companies and so on. Dreaming big about big data and what we can do with artificial intelligence. Actually, AI now used in a variety of projects we are currently running, and one of the important things we can use AI, it's actually risk scoring. Of course, this is the hidden patterns of behavior, human behavior and entity behavior, which is defining by the machine learning algorithms, neural networks. AI also help us to find and cluster data, find your gold customer profile and find the bad customer profile to be in comparison. We also can automate the work with paper documents and actually create the set of templates of these documents to digitalize them, to put them into the system and work with business processes and some automation here. We can predict your sales and stock management. It's also important when for entrepreneur to understand how many people should be in the schedule for this weekend or something like this, and how to store effectively your goods on the shelves to minimize the movement for the robots on the stock or to the people who is managing these operations on the stock. And talking about educational part of the system, you can find the areas you have to tune in yourself. So it means that if we are talking about lifetime education, because entrepreneurship, first of all, this is the lifetime education. Every time you're trying to find something new, you're trying to have the short-term education to have new skills, to be more flexible and to be more creative. And artificial intelligence may help you with your personal profile and your personal skills and advise you with some new specific you need to be aware. So the big data processing actually is limited only by our imagination. So any cases we are going to achieve is available through the big data analysis. It's all related to the data you have and the result you want to have from them. Why we are here? Actually, we are here because we are inspired in changing the market and bringing new technologies on the market, creating the new abilities and bringing the new business value to any industry we're touching. We have a certain experience and we have our IT imagination and using it in every our project. We'll be happy to cooperate with you in any case. It might be a consulting or it might be any other purposes, strategic sessions, brainstorming and creating some new ideas to the market to help with entrepreneurship promoting. So assuming what was in my slides, the main thing is to solve the issues with challenges which have the entrepreneurs on the start. Registering the company, defining what to do, defining what type of the entity you have to create, defining what services you need from the bank, define how to cooperate with your employees and to have the necessary agreements which brings you the safety of operation. Solving these issues will definitely help you with entrepreneurship in your country, and if you're solving this for your entrepreneurs, they will be with you for a long time for sure. I think it's all. I'm ready to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you for this very insightful presentation. And I think they were very, at least for myself, they were very, very, important points that you have made, particularly starting how you addressed and helped on what type of entrepreneurial company or activity that you should select, and then the advantages of AI. That's very, very important. I was referring to in my session as well. Are there any questions or comments that you have for myself or our very learned speaker from Russia, Siri or Alexander, guys, Nasir, Salim, anything that you want to ask?
Yes, doctor, this is Bashar al-Blushi from Mithaq.
Yes, for sure. For sure, yes.
Nice to meet you,
Doctor,
Bashar.
I got a question about entrepreneurship. What we did last survey in Oman, we we know to know the difference between what we did in Oman and between Oman and other Gulf countries.
Yeah.
As a risk sharing or whatever financing sides, as entrepreneurship rules, which is roles which we did before as a survey, we did it. How do
Yeah.
you see it, Oman, comparing the other GCC's countries?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bashar. It's a very, very good question. The first thing first, let's see Oman versus GCC. Overall, I'm talking about. You remember there was a slide I showed you where I showed you the strength, weaknesses of the overall Omani entrepreneurial ecosystem. I mentioned these are the weaknesses, these are the strengths, etc.
Yeah,
Overall, in GCC, for example, Saudi Arabia, some parts it is better than Oman, but in other parts where Oman is better, Saudi Arabia is weak. See, so overall, the GCC picture is more or less the same. In some part, Kuwait is ahead. In some parts, Oman is ahead. But there are weaknesses as well. Some of the weaknesses are common weaknesses. For example, cultural support. When I was comparing in another study, when I was comparing Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Oman, both scored relatively lower on cultural support. You see, but UAE was better in technology. Oman is not that better in technology, you see. But the overall natija, the overall result for all GCC, which is the same region, is more or less the same that the overall entrepreneurial ecosystem still needs improvement. Why do I say that? Because I need more stronger areas. The more the stronger areas in the entrepreneurial ecosystem table, the better the entrepreneurial ecosystem for the country to promote entrepreneurship. Right now, for whole GCC, and I gave you the Omani data and Omani representation in that slide, the picture is more or less the same. More or less the same. Of course, UAE, I think, may have some advantage, and I think Saudi is moving in that direction as well because the technology adoption and internationalization aspect. UAE ranks very highly on that as compared to Oman. So this is extra advantage that UAE has. So right now, when we say the whole GCC needs to improve its entrepreneurial ecosystem, I submit again, Bashar, and you were part of my group. We did this data collection together for this national level survey of Oman. I submit again, even if you make all the entrepreneurial ecosystem elements strong, right? But if your financial model, even if you fill the funding gap, Masalan, now more funding is available. But if the funding model is not right, it doesn't matter how good your ecosystem is, the maximum benefits of entrepreneurship will still not be reached. And this is why I am promoting and projecting that even though you want to fix your entrepreneurial ecosystem, you want to make your areas of weakness strong, you want to maintain your strong areas, and overall your ecosystem becomes predominantly much more stronger. But if you provide financing and your financial model is wrong, then the system will still not go to the maximum limit. This is why my argument, my advocacy is for Islamic banks to come in because they have this natural model that suits the risk return profile uh, for entrepreneurship, particularly in Oman. I can have and then on top of it, run it through technology solutions. You see, this is the extra edge. This is the X factor in these modern times. Not only bring in risk sharing driven financing, but deliver it through extra technology solution. This is where Movex comes in. This is where what we have discussed, AI, robo advisory, and all of these elements comes in. And I tell you something, Bashar, Misak can be one player. Bank Muscat can be one prominent pioneering player to adopt and introduce this trajectory of financing and technology